From Llanelli to Pembrokeshire and now to the Sunto Cardiff Triathlon for race 3 of the Welsh Triathlon Super Series. The first city centre event of the year. It is a perfect setting. Everyone looking forward to a swim in Cardiff Bay. It's fast, it's flat, the times will be quick, there's no doubt about that. And there's no doubt that this event is going from strength to strength. Now, the event director and the man behind many of Wales's most popular and certainly most adventurous triathlons is Tim Lloyd.
It's grown every year. This is the 4th year that we've hosted the Cardiff Triathlon. Of course, this year we're delivering the British Sprint Distance Championship. We're delivering the Welsh Super Series. On top of mass participation racing, we're going to have over 1,500 people racing here in the Cardiff Triathlon this year, which is the biggest it's ever been. And looking to the future, you know, we could host anything here. We can have ITU racing, we can have World Cup, World Series. Who knows where this race can go? But it's definitely, you know, it's such a great location for triathlon racing. It's perfect.
It certainly is, and everyone looking forward to seeing the British Triathlon Sprint Championships, which we'll catch up with later in this programme. And the standard of British triathlon is sky high, as has been the standard in the Welsh Triathlon Super Series so far. As I said, we started in Llanelli, a win for Alex Matchett, who ran himself to victory with great style and some very good transitions as well. They moved on to Pembrokeshire after that. A wavy, rough swim, it was windy conditions, but again it was Matchett who came out on top, pushed all the way by Ollie Simon, the veteran from this part of the world, but Matchett just too good on that last phase. And Matchett has made his way to Cardiff, trying to make it 3 out of 3 here in the capital city.
The races have gone really well for me so far. I couldn't really have asked for anything better. This week's been all about recovering, not really doing much training, just relaxing, feet up sort of thing, going for a few easy runs, a few easy spins on the bike, and I'm feeling fit and ready to go again this week.
Nathan Ford could be the man to push Matchett this time. He came 3rd in Llanelli in round 1.
I've got to do what I do every race and just try and go out as hard as I can from the start. If I can sort of be up there with Alex after the bike, then I'm in with a good shot, so we'll see how it goes.
Catherine Marks is leading the women's series at the moment with a 1st and a 3rd, and she's been pushed hard by Emma Palfrey, who's been chasing her in each performance. Palfrey will enjoy the protected swim this time round. And Marks has been running pretty well, so it's been a competitive series for the women.
I'd quite like to get a PB actually, because I think it's probably quite a fast course.
It certainly is. It's flat and fast, the wind the only thing that can slow them down. Katie Greenwood, full-time paediatric intensive care doctor, and she fits in a full schedule of triathlon training as well. This is Celia Boothman.
It's going to be kind of fast and quite exciting, I think, and also like being in Cardiff, it's a bit different from being in Pembrokeshire. There's going to be lots of people and lots of support.
Boothman, good runner, could capitalise on Greenwood's only weakness, which is the last phase. You can see the distances they're going to be racing: 1,500 metres in the water, the bike of 40 kilometres, and then a run along the barrage to finish it off, and that's 10 kilometres. And if it's windy, that is the one that gets badly affected, but the conditions today are absolutely perfect. Deep water start, as we have in many of the triathlons, and so important to get yourself a good position at the start of the swim. Find someone who can just drag you to a quicker time, and that could well be Nathan Ford, who's the class swimmer, and he's leading the way at the moment. Matchett just on his left.
Obviously last week it was really choppy sea swim, hilly on the bike and hilly on the run, whereas this week the swim's a bit more sheltered, and then the bike's flat but with a few quite a few dead turns, so it could be quite technical.
Ford with that characteristic hand position of his as the hands go in, a right hand turn around the buoy.
Sprint is just way too short for me for what I do. So it does suit me a bit better, the Olympic distances, and I do prefer them, to be honest. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, he's looking forward to that, but he's swimming straight on. He's failed to take the right-hand turn, and Matchett has gained an advantage of some 15 metres. He accelerates away to make Ford pay for his mistake. And Matchett has taken full advantage of that. And he's very quick in transition as well, so he should be out on the bike on his own. Well, it's not so often you see mistakes like that. I wonder whether Ford was just keeping an eye on Matchett rather than watching out for the marker buoy. Matchett can hardly believe his luck. Here comes Nathan Ford, berating himself, no doubt, and Matchett is ready to go. 15 seconds lost in the water, and his transition already looks slower, so that could be a 20-second deficit, and he should have had an advantage of 5 or 6 seconds. So Matchett, who has had a highly successful season so far, who won in Llanelli, who won in Pembrokeshire, and Ford, who is the better cyclist of the two, is going to have to work to catch up rather than work to pull ahead. Familiar situation for Alex Matchett, often leads out of the water. Ford will be thinking he's got the Cardiff curse, because things did not go his way last year after another very good start.
I was first up the swim and I had probably about a 2-3 minute lead on the bike, but unfortunately hit a drain cover and came off, so that was my race over. So I learned a lot of lessons from that race, but I think it's going to be completely different today. There's a couple of fast guys here again, so it'll be a good race.
Well, he's got lessons to learn from this race as well, but at least he's still in the running. 19 seconds, the unofficial gap between Matchett and Ford coming out of T1. The fastest in the women's field in the swim is Vicky Johnson. 20:31 her time for the 1500 metres. No sign of Greenwood or Marks when she left the transition area, so she's gained a good advantage on her main rivals. This is Jasmine Boyer. It's been good in the series and the swims, but just loses time on the bike ride. Let's hope that changes today. Celia Boothman, who we know can run a bit, but she's got to get herself into contention on this second phase. You can't give the likes of Vicky Johnston too much of a lead. Catherine Marks, winner of the first race in the series, says she's going for a PB, but she'd love to be back on that podium again. Starting to get busy out on the course. 3 laps of just over 13 kilometres to make up the 40k bike ride, and Nathan Ford still sitting in second place, and he's still some way behind Alex Matchett, who has pushed hard in the early stages.
I think it's just making sure that you keep concentrating, especially when, as the laps go on, you might be starting to get a bit more tired, so it's really important to keep focusing, and aware of what's going on around you will be really important.
Well, he's had the odd cheeky look over his shoulder to see what's going on behind, and Nathan Ford at last is starting to make up ground. And on that turn again, Matchett just sizing up the situation. Now the gap starts to close fast. He's into the slipstream, and Ford will hit the front, not for the first time today. He led, remember, in the swim when he got his navigation slightly wrong, and now he goes ahead in the bike. Ford's job now is to hurt those legs of Matchett and try and take the sting out of his run. Well, this is where it gets busy. Traffic going both ways. Good riding by Nathan Ford. Matchett not quite as confident on the bike as his main rivals. This race is still in the balance, with Matchett chasing Ford now. And of course, we've still got the British Elite Sprint Championships to look forward to later on today. Welcome back to the Sunto Cardiff Triathlon, the third race in the Welsh Triathlon Super Series, and it's an Olympic distance event. Nathan Ford is the first off the bike into T2. Now, he was 2 minutes slower than Alex Matchett over 5k in Llanelli. He's going to have about a 15-second lead over Matchett going into the 10k run. Out along the barrage, he goes past the Norwegian church. And at this stage, although in second place, Matchett has to be favourite. He knows his opponents well.
Nathan's obviously a really good athlete, so I'll be looking to either stick with him or at least lose as little time as possible, and then hopefully making sure I have enough energy for the run.
A gap of 25 metres, he certainly would have settled for that at the start of the day. And Nathan Ford just taking a little longer to get into his running. What does he weigh? 79, 80 kilos Ford, up against the 68, 69 of Matchett. No contest there in terms of speed. There aren't any hills to worry about, which is where Matchett is so good. But Ford just does not have the leg speed that Alex Matchett has at the moment. He's in tremendous form. Well, he's only done 500 metres, but it would be a big, big surprise if he didn't win his third successive series race in a row. Already the gap significant, 50-60 metres now. Matchett just looking around, enjoying the occasion. Here comes Vicky Johnston, who was the quickest woman on the bike. She's been the quickest woman in the water as well. And she's built herself a very comfortable lead over the opposition. Millie King going out in second. She lost 4 minutes in the water, has a lot of work to do. This is Katie Greenwood, the full-time doctor. Trains pretty much full-time as well. Phenomenal energy. Catherine Marks just heading out, looking to maintain her lead at the top of the series, having got a first and a third so far. Matchett leads the men's series comfortably with 2 wins out of 2, and he's on his way to 3. Great style, covering the distance at 3 minutes per kilometre. Be interesting to see whether he goes under the 30-minute mark for this run. It's quite possible with the pace he's set. Nathan Ford, no chance of challenging for first. It's now all about defending second, and he's got James Manson, who is the nearest behind him, but there's quite a gap between 2 and 3. So here comes Matchett. He's got faster and faster and faster, and he comes in a time of 1:47.44, almost 3 minutes quicker than last year's winner. Nathan Ford, 4 minutes slower on the run alone, 1:51.51. It's still a fabulous performance, but outclassed by Matchett on the last phase.
Couldn't have asked for much better, really. It was a really good race today. Nathan pushed me all the way, so yeah, it was really good, especially on the bike. I knew at some point he was going to catch me up, and it was just making sure that it was later rather than earlier on in the race. And I know that if it comes down to a running race, then I'll back myself.
29.44, Matchett's time on the run.
I'm quite pleased with second. I knew I could pull back some time on the bike, and I worked quite hard, to be honest, maybe a bit too hard on the bike, but I knew I had to get in front of Alex if I had any chance of coming in the top 2. So yeah, I worked really hard, but it just wasn't enough on the day.
Millie King, second place in the women's. She's some way behind Vicky Johnston, who's had an absolute stormer so far, heading for a time of around 2 hours, 1 minute. Time to celebrate with the young fans who've turned out to watch today. And that's one of the features of the city centre races. There are so many spectators. The atmosphere, particularly in the finish, is fantastic.
Really happy. I wasn't really sure where my fitness was coming into this. I'm usually quite strong on the swim and bike. It's usually the run at the minute where people chase me down, so my tactics were just swim hard, bike hard, and hope for the best on the run, really.
Here's Camilla King, 2:08.57, but it's a good, strong finish from Millie King. Every second counts.
My aim was to beat my time from 2 years ago when I came 6th, so second is a big step up. So yeah, the run is always damage limitation for me, so it was just keep going, keep going, keep going. And when I had the motorbike on me, it was try and look strong when I had the cameras on me.
Great performance by Millie King. Katie Greenwood got third, and this is Celia Boothman coming across the line, 2:11.47.
I didn't really know what to expect, really. I just came in to do my best. But it was great fun. I really enjoyed the course. It was fantastic.
So here are the results of the women's race. Race 3 in this series. Vicky Johnston 2:01.17, 7 minutes 40 behind Camilla King. Katie Greenwood in 3. Matchett, Ford, Manson, the top 3 in the men's event. Matchett, of course, making 3 wins from 3 races. He is sailing. Moving on now to the British Elite Sprint Championships. 2 main differences. The distances are halved, so it's just a 7:50 swim, 20Ks on the bike, 5K run, and drafting is allowed on the bike. So crucially, you have to have a good swim. There's a strong field in both men and women's, and the men looking to Adam Bowden to see what he can do. He's the defending champion.
Yeah, I feel confident and excited to race the sprint distance again. Yeah, last year was a special moment to take the win in the first elite race. I'm just looking forward to it, really.
His competition could come from Morgan Davis, who won this title back in 2015. And after a slowish start to the season, particularly on the bike, his form is starting to return.
I want to take the swim out as hard as I can, and hopefully if I can replicate the sort of swim out in Blenheim, that'd be great. On the bike, just trying to keep it honest, trying to keep a working group together to try and distance ourselves from any potentially quick runners that come under the radar. I don't think you can think too much about the run. You just got to go out hard and try and sort of run the quickest 5K you can off a bike, really.
What a setting. The weather is perfect, the water calm. We've seen some choppy waters here in the past. There are the distances, 750 metres in the water. Won't take them much more than 8 minutes. The bike of 20K. And then, of course, that 5K run to finish. They will be well under the hour for the final time. Something around 55 minutes would be impressive. Nathan Tweedy over on the far side has had a good start. Tweedy leading the way. I can see that Bowden is in that group. And Morgan Davis also right up there, coming out of the water. So Tweedy is going to be first onto the bike. Bowden just behind him. He's done well in transition, Bowden. No sign of Morgan Davis at the moment. We've got a group of 6 out front. Tweedy won't try and get away at this stage. He'll just take it easy over the first kilometre or so until the rest catch him, and then they can start working together. Morgan Davis going out with the second group. There must be, 9-10 athletes there. And the chasers having to push the pace from early on. Now, interesting to see how well the lead group are working together. I think they have sensed the danger from behind, and their only chance is for everyone to take their share. Harriet goes through in front.
Hopefully it's a smallish group away on the bike, and then that'll make the technical aspects quite easy. When it's a small group, if it's a big group, it'll be totally different. It'll be quite dynamic, quite aggressive out of the corners.
Bowden in this lead group of 6, a man who stepped his racing up to 70.3. Here's the chase group containing Morgan Davis. He'll be bitterly disappointed, having had a good position in the swim. And the leaders have done so well that they've held off that chase group of 13. That is astonishing work. And the question now is, what have they got left in the legs for the 5-kilometre run? Now, quick transition could be the key to success today, with so many so close. Harriet and Teagle 1 and 2, but they've not got a lot of breathing space. It is going to be a fantastic finish to this race. Past the Norwegian church where Roald Dahl was christened. Morgan Davis just racking his bike as the leading group exit T2. Bowden already taking control of the run. Teagle and Fergus Roberts behind him, but they cannot match the pace of the former steeplechaser. It's taken him 10 years to learn this game, and at last he's starting to put successive victories together. He defends his Cardiff title.
Amazing, yeah. To come back here and win it, I'm so over the moon. Coming down the home straight was all that goose pimple sort of feeling, and yeah, the crowd's incredible here, so it's nice to win on home soil.
22-year-old James Teagle taking second in Cardiff, with Fergus Roberts just behind him. Iestyn Harriott, a disappointed Harriott coming across the line. He takes fourth. Morgan Davis 5, two disappointed Welshmen there.
I've been beating a lot of these boys all season, and come the British Championships, it is a bit disappointing my legs didn't turn up. It's something really special to have the British champs at home in Wales, and especially Cardiff, because I train here every day, you know. A little disappointed that I couldn't be at least on the podium.
No doubt he will be back next year to improve. Now, the women's race. First out of the water is Alden, the national junior champion. Kinnell just behind her, who's a very, very quick swimmer, comes from Farnham. But a huge group hunting down the two leaders, and the inevitable about to happen. Now, with this many in a group, you have to be careful in Cardiff. There are lots of tight turns. Bike riding skills essential, but no drama this year. Into T2. Who will be out first? Alden it is who gets the trainers on first, just 19 years old, training for the European Under-23 Championships. She's got a lot of potential for the future, and she's got herself just ahead of War, a Junior World Championship silver medalist. And Alden, a fine performance throughout. The Loughborough Tri Performance Centre will be happy to see her take the tape, and the biggest win of her career without a doubt.
I haven't lifted a banner before, so I was like, I get to do the banner. I saw my parents, my brother and my dog on the sideline, so I was ecstatic.
So the national sprint titles taken by Adam Bowden, and a brilliant effort from Sophie Alden. The future looks bright, and it's just as important that the masses keep on getting involved, and that has certainly happened here in Cardiff. 1,500 triathletes in all taking part in the weekend's races. Beautiful conditions, it's a fantastic setting, and Alex Matchett enjoying it more than most. He has kept his run of success going, 3 out of 3 in the series so far, and the next race, race 4, is up north in Bala Lake. The venue is quite spectacular, just in the shadow of the Arun Mountains. We should see some great racing, and we hope to see you there.